the Acropolis, Observatory of Alatri, connections between architecture, astronomy, and the cult of fertility. The Acropolis is a star temple, built for the cult of fertility and for astronomical observations. It belongs to heaven for its design, so much so that its shape is the same as that of the constellation of Auriga, which in antiquity was defined, as well as the chariot of the sun, also the sacred pentagon. In May of 1850, the archaeologist Marriott found in a deep excavation next to the Sphinx in Egypt Cyclopean stones of pentagonal shape. On the lintel of the minor gate of Alatri, there is a stone that has the shape that really looks like a regular pentagon. At the Imperial Library of Vienna, there is a book, printed in Venice in the year 1858, and whose title is Pythagoras Travels in Egypt. In it, Pythagoras claims to have discovered native populations who worshipped Osiris Triphallic, and they carried in procession his simulacrum above a vase of water. Osiris Triphallicus brings me back to the three phalluses represented on the lintel of the minor door. Within the same door, the precession cycle of Triphallic Osiris is completed. The foundation of the Acropolis of Alatri is closely linked to the precession of the equinoxes. Because of this cyclical movement, which lasts about 25,700 years, the stars in their apparent motion always assume a different position, both on the horizon and inside the slice of sky seen from the minor gate. The apparent displacement of Osiris, which on the major mountains is horizontal and goes from 90 to 160 degrees of azimuth. Inside the door, it turns vertical, reaching its peak in the 202 years after Christ. It will then begin the reverse path. In an infinite cycle, it will be in the same position after 25,700 years. Due to precession, the local celestial sphere is constantly changing in an elliptical motion, while the celestial pole and therefore the pole star of the moment is always indicated in the segment of sky bounded by the main gate and by the three fake doors. On a bas-relief, present on the southeast edge of the Acropolis, at the highest point, there are two arrows carved, indicating 135 degrees of azimuth on the horizon. With a simulation program of stellar motions, I was able to verify that Osiris and Isis aligned themselves in the 5300 BC, right at the point indicated by the two arrows. Due to the motion of the Earth's revolution, in the various seasons the Sun covers different heights in its apparent motion. The numbers 3, 6, 9. According to some scholars, they are the key to understanding the universe, and we find them inside the minor gate. There are 3 fowls. 6, the months between one penetration and another. 9, the steps of the inverted staircase, which covers the ascending corridor. 9 like the months of pregnancy. The minor gate in the equinoxes is penetrated by the sun, with an inclination in height of 43 degrees and 71 primes, and azimuth 147 degrees and 91 primes. At dawn of the solstices and equinoxes, the Acropolis of Alatri is aligned with Visoko, Hattusa, Giza. The program calculates the orthodromic direction between 2 points on the Earth, and between Alatri and the Pyramid of Cheops it is 123 degrees 63 primes. This value is less than the degree, if we consider the rising of the orographic sun in Alatri. Another interesting detail is that this line divides the pyramids in two by their diagonals. The sun plays a very important role in the design of the star temple. At the dawn and sunset of the equinoxes and solstices, The shadows cast by stakes fixed in the vertices of the Acropolis converge in the center of the Star Temple. This center is the vertex of an isosceles triangle, formed by the two projections at the dawn of the solstices, plus the east wall of the temple. If we multiply the height of the triangle, 91 meters, by 2 pi, we obtain the measurement of the perimeter of the Acropolis, 571 meters, as if it were a circumference whose radius is 91 meters. As for pi, the golden ratio, a symbol of aesthetic perfection, can also be found in the measurements of the Acropolis of Alatri, as well as in those of the Pyramid of Cheops. In the same triangle ABC, the height, h, is in the golden ratio with hc, half of the base BC. The diagonal A1 is in the golden mean ratio with the side A2, B1 with B2, and C1 with C2. The golden rectangle, if superimposed on the main gate and the minor gate, fits perfectly in both. Dr. Vivian Schipper, of San Diego, California, has lent herself to an experiment aimed at proving the presence of energy in the subsoil. He held 2 pipe-shaped copper rods, and approaching the center of the temple, the rods began to spin, and a beam of electromagnetic energy crossed the field of vision. The same experiment was done by Dr. Sarah Costantini. Dr. Paolo de Bertolis of Trieste, an expert in archaeoacoustics, has recorded mechanical vibrations that could have a conspicuous relaxation effect on the human body. Here's the sound. From a photo where the color orange is an indication of vibrations. The entire center of Alatri seems to have been designed following the vibrations. Analogies and observations on polygonal realities. Right, the Nilometer, taximeter to measure the level of the Nile in floods. Left, the Fertility Gate, built to mark the succession of the equinoxes. Inside the 2 access gates to the Acropolis, on the right, an image is carved, which really looks like the shape of the outer walls of the city. Leonine elements are in Alatri, in the south/east gate of the outer walls of the walls, in the Sphinx in Egypt, in Mycenae, and Hattusa. High arches, they are in Mycenae, Alatri, Apino. A bas-relief that is difficult to interpret on the east edge of the Acropolis could represent a Taurus, an eagle, or a winged sun, since it targets the sunrise at the equinoxes. A sketched image on the west wall of the temple looks very similar to the statue in the Ankara Museum, represents the mother goddess in childbirth, and is dated 1600 BC. The bas-relief emerging on a stone of the left jamb of the north gate of the city of Alatri has an iconography similar to that found in Göbekli Tepe in Mesopotamia. Dated 9,600 and 12,000 BC, they both represent the mother goddess at the moment of conception. Digital Explorer interview with University Prof.
Ferdinando Caputi.
The dates must be backdated a lot. I had to stay with my feet on the ground and follow the orthodoxy of archaeology. I went crazy when I picked up the things we had discovered, but that we should not say we had discovered, because as well as the history of the walls of Alatri, which are beautiful. Because many times academics either entrust their studies to students, but they are fragmented, while here the scholar Ornello Tofani dedicates himself to a single site. In fact, he understood exactly what was the setting of Alatri, of its walls, compared to the sky of that era and the constellations, and he wasn't wrong at all. Since we come from the universe, we have to look at the universe. Alatri, Segni, San Felice Circio, there are huge megaliths. Where do we place it on a temporal level? The period is the same for everyone. I assume that we know exactly that of the Pyramid of Cheops and the Sphinx, therefore 10,000/10500 BC.